When the Power of the Jedi line took over from Power of the Force 2, a lot of fans were left saying, huh? Wait, we're just getting more figures that we already have, just better upgrades? Well, in a lot of ways, yes. This was because after Episode 1 figures, well, underperformed in Year 2, they were combined with Classic Trilogy into one line called Power of the Jedi with an edict from Lucasfilm that 50% of the figures be from Episode 1 and 50% be from the Classic Trilogy. Well, one of the nice things about this is it spurred Hasbro to really dig deep and come up with a lot of creative repaints and original characters that might not otherwise have seen the light of day if they hadn't been under that order. And one of the cool original trilogy Cantina aliens we got in Power of the Jedi, and the only release ever of the Duros, Elorus Matic. Now, this is the guy that kind of looks like one of those X-File aliens, with the big eyes and the big head, and he came out right kind of core in the middle of Power of the Jedi and was also one of the first figures that we got a print ad for, since he was a fan's choice figure, which meant fans really wanted this character. We really should get more fans' choice figures. I'm sad that's gone away. Now, the Duros, for those of you who have been living under Iraq for a while, were these two guys. Actually, I think one of them's a girl. I don't know. I can't keep track. Now, besides being a tasty, tasty south-of-the-border snack, Duros are an alien Star Wars species that's popped up quite a few times, not just in the Cantina. I mean, of course, that was their big start, but we've seen them kind of all over the place. They do get mistaken sometimes for pneumonians, and I think they're, kind of related to them from a species standpoint, but if you really want to see a good Duros, look no farther than Cad Bane, star of the Book of Boba Fett and Clone Wars, for one of the, Duros cousins. I don't know if those guys are directly related, but they are of the same species, as opposed to, those backwards talking weird aliens from Phantom Menace that we all like to forget about. Now, as far as being in the movie, we had two of them. Guy in the white suit and guy in the brown shirt. Now, if you think that white suit looks a little familiar and looks kind of like a typical alien astronaut, well, you're not wrong. And that's because, like a lot of things that were used in the Cantina reshoots, this was a pickup prop that was already seen on screen in Escape from Planet of the Apes. It was the standard issue given to any ape that was escaping. And, well, it was around, it was available, and it was on a Duros. So there you go. It's something that shows Star Wars' kind of place in cinema history, and I actually kind of think it's nice, sort of like the werewolf mask that shows up in the Cantina. So, for those of us who were excited to finally get a Duros, and we were because we voted for this guy, well, now we had him, and this is the only time that Hasbro has ever done this figure. Now, you could read more about him in his little included pamphlet, but you really bought him for his Cantina fodder, and you never got another one. The other Duros, the one in the brown shirt, while he's been done in the super deformed look, that's what this is called by the toy industry, super deformed, when the head and arms are out of proportion, it's just a name, or the mini version that was released by Galoob in the Micro Machines line. So we've had access to this guy in other toy lines, but never in 3 3/4, or even in 6-inch. Maybe you could get a twofer. I don't know. There's a lot of tooling around these days. You'd think they could spit out the other one. It could just even be the same head, although I doubt they have the tooling from this guy. He's like 20 years old at this point. There's no way that tool still exists. But he was one of the first Cantina aliens really slimmed down because of the new Power of the Jedi look post the Boba Fett 300th figure, and he really stands out in your Cantina. Alright, so a few episodes ago, I talked about how the Power of the Jedi was releasing single-carded versions of characters that we'd previously gotten, and re-getting characters is pretty, common. Specifically, the one I was referencing was the Shadows of the Empire IG-88, which in Power of the Force we got as a 2-pack with Boba Fett in his sort of redecoed Empire of the Strikes Back. Boy, it's like I don't even know the name of the movie. Alright, Empire Strikes Back. I swear I've seen that movie at least once. Alright, well, Power of the Jedi brought us a single-carded IG-88, and that sort of made up for the lack of a single-carded one, and we obviously would get many IG-88s over time. I already covered this in the IG-88 video, but, what can I say? I just like saying IG-88 and showing pictures of him, because he's a droid whose head used to be a faucet in the Cantina. Heck, we even got a concept version, but we'll get to him down the line. The point being is we like having single-carded versions of characters, and the Bounty Hunters as a set, IG-88 was the only one not offered as a single-carded figure during the Power of the Force 2 era. So getting that single-carded version finally in Power of the Jedi helped us at least have a single-carded set until, of course, we got this big deluxe set, but we'll get to that. And right up in that vein, what we're talking about today is the Scout Trooper. Now, we already got the Scout Trooper twice. We got him in Power of the Jedi and Power of the Force 2 on this bike. On the bike, he was meant more as an accessory for the bike, since as a figure, he didn't really stand out on his own, because he looked great mounted on the bike. But when you took him off of the bike, he had kind of that straddling, I have to go pee look. So a lot of fans were wanting a standard Scout Trooper or Biker Scout, and we got that in Power of the Jedi. So with the whole edict of having 50% of the figures be from the original trilogy and the opportunity to now redeco him, we got a redeco of him. So that was the next figure following the Cantina alien with giant red eyes and blue skin. The redeco is a blast mark on his tummy and some kind of, I guess, mud grass stains on his boots. But hey, it totally works, and while it's not 100% accurate, I don't think we ever got a, Scout Trooper with a blast mark exactly on his tummy. For me personally, I love Biker Scouts, Scout Troopers. This was kind of my Stormtrooper as a kid, since I was a little young for A New Hope and Empire, but Jedi was like my prime. I think I was like 6 or 7. So I was old enough to appreciate it, and obviously this wouldn't be the only Scout Trooper we got. We would continue to get new versions as time went on, but finally getting a single-carded one in Power of the Jedi was great, and now we had a repaint with a blast mark on his tummy. I should also reiterate that the greatest Scout Trooper, though, however, in the entire modern line was this one. This is the one with the Toys R Us pack with a brand new speeder bike and a clear stand. I neglected to mention this one in the video I did months and months ago about what was the best modern version of every original Kenner figure, and I noted it was the Black Series single-carded version, when 3 3/4 was Black Series. But it should have been this one, because of the way his head can actually turn to the side, which is very movie accurate, not to mention the fact that he comes with an awesome bike. So if you want one Scout Trooper, get that one. This one that I had originally said was the best, I realize is not, because his torso is attached backwards. Alright, moving on to the final figure in this Power of the Jedi wave of Classic Trilogy, we get our next Cloud City Wing Guard. I've never seen them called Wing Guard on package. Maybe I'm wrong. They're always just called Bestman Guards. So this, well, let's back up. Bestman Guards have had a thing throughout the years. One, because it was the only figure we got 2 of in the original Kenner line, a black and a white guy. And that's led to a lot of custom fodder over the years, people wanting to create both of them in the modern line. Of course, our first modern version was the one that came with the Power of the Jedi Carbonite Freezing Chamber. This was a kid-designed playset during the Power of the Force era that was shuffled into Power of the Jedi when it was canceled. It was a customized item that no one picked up or was canceled after the tooling. So it was sold on a fan channel, and it was sold with a character that was way out of date, a character that was designed during the Power of the Force 2 era, and now when stacked up against Power of the Jedi figures, it just didn't hold up. And we were really hoping this was not our token modern Bestman Guard. And of course, we would get several Bestman Guards after that. Especially interesting is this black guy that was a white guy painted black, clearly no black facial features. We would get that corrected in the vintage collection in 2022. Actually, this figure should be arriving very soon if you don't already have it. It's a Walmart exclusive. So, yes, we wanted all of the Bestman Guards from the vintage line, including the guy with the handlebar mustache, who was not the figure on the photo in the vintage line, but we got that finally corrected again in the modern vintage line, the Kenner vintage line. I don't know what to call them. The point is, we like our Bestman Guards, and we want as many of them as possible, and the nice thing about the film is it provides us with quite a few, and there's a lot of ethnic diversity. The one we got here in Power of the Jedi was Asian, and that's actually 100% movie accurate, because yes, there is absolutely 1 or 2 Asian wing guards. You can see one here to the right of Lando standing behind Lobot. So I don't know if it's exactly supposed to be that guy, but hey, it's great to have diversity. It's not our first and only Asian character in the line, and we've gotten many over the years. So hey, diversity, awesome. Star Wars, awesome. Keep collecting, even awesomer. Love it.